Good morning. It is Wednesday, April 15th. We're going to go through our lessons for today. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda is finish reading Your Volcano Wakes Up, 6:05 to 6:15. Okay, and then you're going to do your vocabulary words. So remember, you can find those in the margins. Okay, so here's lava. And then you're gonna write your definitions in these boxes for your words, okay? If you haven't noticed, we are not doing spelling or your word work this week. We've kind of finished up on most of your spelling patterns and your word work, which kind of go together anyways. There was one last one, but it was a fairly complicated one, so I just took it out. It's not a super necessary one that you see it all the time, okay? So, just so you know, that is why that is not in there today, or for this week. So, do your vocabulary words, write them in the blank if you wanna pause me. Then we'll go on to writing poetry again. This one is called a concrete poem. So this is very much like our poems in our story, okay? That you'll find some in, what is it? Oh, this is a concrete poem, volcano, all right? And that'll be a question on your check for understanding questions. Okay, so on your concrete poems, there's some examples over here again. So a concrete poem shows words written in the shape of the picture. It may or may not rhyme, all right? I know in the lesson plan it says pick one from the shapes provided. Yep, we got really busy the other day when we were getting us all together and I forgot to add that in there. So that was just to help you keep it neat, but you can draw your own little picture. So here's some examples of pictures where the poems are about the picture they are, all right? So we have a lollipop, and the poem is about lollipops, and we have a smiley face, and it's about smiling and being happy. And then the bottom one is about wind, okay? So I again enlisted my daughter Carly in making a concrete poem of her own, and hers is about ice cream, and she made it into a ice cream cone with, it looks like mint chocolate chip ice cream. So her poem says, my ice cream cone has a point. It is sweet with many flavors, and it comes in any color. So she wrote the poem starting here around the ice cream and then down around the cone. All right, so it's not long. It doesn't necessarily rhyme, but it is about the picture that you make, and you make the poem into the picture that it is. All right? Okay, so then the next thing you're gonna do is your journal writing. You're gonna tell me about your workspace at home. Where are you doing your schoolwork? So I showed a picture on my Instagram when we first started this about my workstation. I'm working at the end of my dining room table. So write about your workspace and think about your who, what, when, where while you're writing. So what do you do when you're writing in this place? Who is maybe working by you or with you? When do you do your work? And then the where, obviously, is where your workspace is, okay? So then you are going to read your journal to somebody again, all right? Okay, moving on to math. We're gonna be moving on to measuring with a centimeter ruler. Okay, now you should still have your inch ruler, okay? Right here, remember it says inch on the top right here? Well, we're just gonna flip it over and we have our centimeters. So cm stands for centimeters, okay? So think about, what do you notice different on your inch side and your centimeter side, okay? So your centimeters are a smaller unit of measure, okay? So if you see here, 1 centimeter is about this long, but remember an inch is about this long, okay? So think about that. Always, always, always make sure you're on the centimeter side of your ruler on your measuring today. Okay. So we're skipping this first page, okay? And we're jumping right in to page 578, okay? So remember it says what is the length of the crayon to the nearest centimeter? Well, you're gonna use your centimeter ruler here on the picture. What is it closest to? It looks like it's closest to the 9, okay? Closest to the 9 here, the end, all right? All right, so think about this thought bubble up here. Line up the left edge of the object with the 0 marker on the ruler. Just like when we were measuring with our inch side, we don't start at the very end of the actual ruler. We start at the very first tick mark, okay? So when you line this up, you need to make sure the very first tick mark lines up with that first line of the paintbrush, and you're gonna go all the way over, and it looks like it is pretty much exactly 13 centimeters, okay? So write that down. This next object looks like it's maybe a piece of chalk. Again, you're gonna start here, the first tick mark, and go over, and it looks like it's about 8 centimeters long, okay? So you wanna pause me, and you're gonna do numbers 3, 4, and 5 on your own, all right? All right, let's look at our hot pepper here, number 6. It's multi-step. Remember to box that. It's important, okay? It means we're gonna do more than one thing to get our answer. So the crayon was on the table next to the centimeter ruler. The left edge of the crayon was not lined up with the 0 marker, okay? So look, it's kind of in the middle of our centimeter ruler, all right? Well, what is the length of the crayon? Well, it's not 11 centimeters because we're not starting at 0, okay? So when we see here, we can use 11, but we've got to take and count that it's not at 0. So we've got to subtract that 3 centimeters there. So if we did 11 minus 3, that would give us our actual length of our crayon, okay? Another way is think of it as like a number line, and you can jump and count your centimeters. So you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? So you could do that as well. So when you're explaining, think about what did we just talk about? Well, it's not lining up with 0, so we've got to take that 3 centimeters off somehow, okay? All right, moving on to number 7, hot pepper. A marker is 13 centimeters long. This length ends between which 2 centimeter markers on your ruler? Well, remember, a centimeter marker is almost like a number line. So if you find 13, so our marker is 13, what 2 markers are on either side? 12 and 14, okay? All right, so use what we just talked about to answer your daily assessment questions and your homework page, okay? So make sure you are always checking to make sure you're on your centimeter side of your ruler for this, all right? Okay, so the last thing is your social studies. You have a little activity. You're gonna cut out these squares and you're gonna put it on this construction paper that we provided. And you need to think about what's gonna be first. Well, first we're gonna start with a family grows vegetables and they have more than they need. So if we were, right now, if somebody's growing vegetables right now and we are kind of short on some groceries in the stores right now, what would be the next thing they could do to take care of those vegetables, not go to waste? They want to sell them at the market, okay? Then think of the next 2 things that would happen. And when you have them glued in order, so this is kind of like a timeline, we've talked about that before, then you're gonna draw a little picture example of the things that are happening in the square, all right? Okay, that should be it for Wednesday, April 15th. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope these videos are helping and you're able to kind of work along with me.